Tony over here. I'm doing a headlight restoration on my personal vehicle, BMW 325. Any headlight, it should work. I'll give you a quick tour of what kind of kit I'm using. I don't know if you can tell how blurry these things are. Maybe it's the vehicle facing outward, so maybe you think it looks better than it really is. But these lights are kind of foggy. Mask it just to prevent the drill bit or the adapter to destroy your paint. I've already done a coat with 500 grit. You'll be doing 500, then 800, and then just polishing it. This is what it looks like after you do your first run with 500, which is normal. It's gonna destroy all that layer of yellowness or fogginess, and then we're gonna move up to the 500 and even wet sanding, and then we'll do the polish. This is my drill that I'm using. This is the brown 500 grit sand disc. And if you don't have one of these, I do believe that 3M has a manual, do it by hand, but it takes a lot longer, but the steps are the same. This is the kit that I'm using. This is an updated kit. It now includes a rag and a glove. But it's also like $7 or $8 more expensive. I don't need to pay $8 for a rag. Come on, 3M. I used to get this kit a lot for 19 bucks. 30 something bucks, that's way too much. Kit includes your 500 sand papers, which is what you start off with, 500. Get all that yellowness out, and it's labeled in the back. Then you're gonna move to the 800, even wet sanding this, and then you're gonna do your headlight restoration clear coat. This is so you can prevent any yellowness from returning. So I've already done one headlight with the 500. I'm gonna do the next one, and then I'll come and show you what it looks like after I do the 800. Well, I just finished the first run with 500 grit paper on the driver's side, on the passenger side, and on the left hand side I just finished the run with the 800. Now, I forgot to mention two things. One, the green tape was part of the kit, and two, when you're using the 800, it's recommended that you put water on this and on your headlight. That is what it looks like after you do the 800, and this is what it looks like after you do the 500. It's gonna look worse before it looks better, if you could call that better. And we haven't done the polishing yet. So get yourself a cup of water or a spray gun, as I have here, and keep sanding until you feel it's better. Okay. Well, guys, I just finished my second run with the 800 wet sanding. So I'm gonna do another coat, and this is what it's starting to look like. I don't know if you could see that, if it's better or worse, but add water to the bit and to the headlight and keep sanding. Something I noticed that the new kit does not come with a buffer or any polishing lotion, just clear coat. I don't know if I'm supposed to use that or not. I'm not going to. Luckily I have a little buffer and a little bit of buffing cream or lotion. Just put some on there, scuff it, buff it, and then just put that clear coat. So as I said, on this thing, get your water, wet it. And one of the questions that people always ask is, how do you know when to move to your next grid paper? I tell them, if you're able to see the last scuff marks that you did with 500, then you still gotta do some work before you start doing this. I can't really see any really deep scars, but if I were able to see some deep scars, then you still gotta do some more work with this until you even those out. Then you move on to the polishing. Okay, so I'll pause you guys and see, keep working on this. finished the passenger side. Now we're gonna do the driver's side. Same theory, keep sanding. In my opinion, the more you sand, the better. Especially with the 800 grit. If you're doing with the 500, you definitely don't want to go too much. Otherwise, you might end up damaging your light by cutting too much layers off of it. So we're now going to change from the 800 bit to this one, which is the 3000. You have to wet sand it. You wet this and you wet the headlight and you polish, or actually you sand for as much as you can. I already got the bumper for that Beamer, and we'll be installing it sometime next week once we get the bracket. We got the bumper up here. So let's go sand some more, and I'll give you an update once this step is done. So that's what it looks like now. We're gonna wet this, and keep sanding. Well, guys, I've completed the first round with 3,000 or 5,000 grit sandpaper. Let me show you what it's starting to look like. Hopefully you can see a difference. Remember, wet sanding and doing this. Don't ask me where the green tape went on the other side, because I no longer sort of got stuck somewhere. I won't tell you where. So I'm going to do another round on this headlight, and then I'm going to move out to just a buffer. And I guess if you don't have a buffer, any clean rag, just wipe it, put some polishing grease, some wax, whatever you have, if you have any. If not, you'll just according to the kit, you'll just be moving on to the clear coat, which is this thing. So I'll update you once I finish doing the last with the 3000 grit and wet sanding. Well, guys, it's done. Definitely a little bit of fogginess still remaining. If I had to say, probably the left hand side, but once you wet it, that's what it's going to look like. And that's what it's going to look like after you do your polishing. Hopefully you guys like it. The polishing is just any kind of grease. If you have a buffer like this, use the drill bit. If not, simply if you don't have your drill bit, simply do it by hand. Hopefully you guys found this video a little bit helpful. I know it's very difficult to follow. Leave any comments if you want. Let me know. All right, thank you guys.